Welcome back to another episode of Who Am I to Judge podcast. I'm Alexis.
And I'm Samantha. We're back.
We are back. How are you, my friend?
I am okay. I am just, I feel like I say this every week, but taking it one day at a time, one moment at a time. I had a day off today, so yeah, it's been a good day. It's like a pretty day outside. Me and Jupiter made a Petco run, so he was happy about that. So yeah, I'm cooling. How are you?
I'm doing good. Work always. Which was, I don't know. I'm just checked out. Like, I feel bad. I'm just like so checked out. This is my last full week before the school year ends, and I'm just like, I feel bad, but I'm so checked out. And
did you guys practice your dance?
No, we practiced Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so we'll be practicing tomorrow. I'm just like annoyed about that, but it's just, I don't know. I'm just checked out. Like, I'm done with the small talk. I'm done with the like, like I'm at the point where I'm just like checking in. And waiting till the time ends, really. Like, just, I'm so checked out.
Know. But they can't expect much.
I know. I mean, literally one of my coworkers was like, I'm using like 3 brain cells for the job right now at this point. And I'm just like, right? Like, who cares? Like, I'm so over this.
Yes. I'm sure the
but
kids
it is
are also ready for summer. The kids are ready for summer vacation.
I did my hair mini twist today.
I see.
Yeah, I just
I like it.
I've been doing I want to do like low tension hairstyles for the summer that also like, so that promote growth, but also like can combat humidity. Cause like last week I did a wash and go like I always do. And literally I stepped outside, my hair went to my ears and I was like, I'm not wearing it like this for the summer. So I was like, okay, let me think of some other styles. So I think I'm gonna do a flat twist style for next week. But this week I have a little mini twist for the week.
Yay.
So
I love it.
Thank you. And I'm excited because not next week, there's this like natural hair salon that I like really wanted to try in New York. I forget what it's called. It's like Century or something like that. It's in Manhattan, but in the beginning of the year I was like, oh, it's too expensive. Like I just am not gonna go. Like, and I found somebody else who I love that's like down the street from me in Flatbush. But then I've just been seeing a lot of their stuff because I followed them on Instagram. And I was like, I'm just going to make an appointment. So I made an appointment for August. And then I was like, well, hopefully I'll have a job by then and it won't be crazy because I'll just come every 3 months for the like trim and stuff. And like that'll make more sense. Like it just didn't make sense this year while I didn't have a job. But I'm really excited because I have an appointment in August for them. That's what I'm due for my next trim. So I'm excited.
I love it. You are so scheduled with your hair.
I want it to grow. It's kind of like my locks. Like when I got the locks, it was like, let's go. Like I know I need to like make a schedule to like get my hair done. I need to make sure I know what to do with it. And it grew so long. So I'm kind of feeling the same about this natural hair. I'm like, all right, well, I have to like, they say every 3 to 4 months you have to get a trim to take the dead ends off. So I will be doing that.
That's what you're doing.
I am on the train.
Yay.
So yeah, I'm excited to see how it looks in August.
Yes, and I'm sure you will have a job by then. So
absolutely. But let's get to it. Who's on trial, friend?
Well, I have one quick thing that I didn't actually tell you today when we were talking about our whatever. It's really nothing crazy. I just want to say these freaking TV providers and their updated rates. I mean,
like streaming services.
The streaming services and their subscription prices going up like every fucking month. Adding ads to it, like that was the whole point of switching from cable. And so yeah, I just saw this really funny tweet about it that I'll insert it in here.
You telling me stuff a little bit, you wait 3 months, then you tell me something else, then you wait 2 weeks, and you tell me something else. You torturing me, man, you torturing me. Why you putting me through all of this? Break my heart once, You gonna break my heart every month? Come on, man. You taking all the strength that I got inside of me. Just give it all to me. Knock me all out at once. I got a knockout punch every week. That's too much for anybody, Erica. It's too much, Erica.
I know.
It's too much.
I know.
It's too much.
But yeah, I just had to say it because I'm just like, at this point, they're about to just have us paying the same as we used to pay for a cable subscription.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like these prices keep on increasing and like our job wages aren't increasing. So
Absolutely. They don't care.
And even the household thing, I'm still annoyed about that. Like,
right.
Whatever. I just want to call them out.
I mean, I'm glad you're calling them out. I mean, we all know. I mean,
I'm over it.
Capitalists will capitalism will do what it needs to do. They will continue to rise, and we will continue to pay for it. And that's the sad part about it. And yeah, they can just get away with it. Yeah, we do.
Sucks.
But
we're
again,
so addicted.
We do need to go on strike, but I feel like we kind of talked about this. I feel like this is a good, like, interesting topic. Like, we kind of talked about this one time, me and you on the phone, like in a personal conversation, but just how, like, we could go on strike. But the fact of the matter is, I feel like people of this generation are just not built like that. Like, literally, they could not, nobody, not a meaningful amount of Americans would go on a strike of Netflix, enough for it to, like, lose money to the point where they're making like a structural change in Netflix. We're not built like that, and it just like irritates me. And I'm curious why we're not, because I feel like we know our ancestors, and not our ancestors, our grandmas, our great grandmothers, like they literally boycotted so much shit for months, you know. But like literally, you can't even ask this generation to not go to fucking Starbucks. Like literally,
I think we're crazy. Just so used to the instant gratification and. It was funny. Me and Soleil were actually talking about, like, you know, like if the world ends, or like, you know, if
y'all love talking about the world ending. I'm afraid. I'm scared they might be plotting the world ending the way they be talking about it.
I'm just repeating what astrologers that I follow have been saying for a long time. But it's funny because we're like, you know, like when the astrologers are like, you know, this country is crumbling or whatever. It's like. We aren't built for, you know, this like post-apocalyptic world. Like me and Soil, like we don't want, like that's not like, yes, I want to be done with this version of the government, but at the same time, a lot of us are not built for just like, I don't even know how to describe it. I feel like it's just like the post-apocalyptic world, like Leave the World Behind or Last of Us. Like it's just like we would not also, last a day. Right. I feel like.
I think you're right, and I think it's also just because like this generation of people, like we're privileged, like we are very blessed to not live in a time where it's like Jim Crow laws, segregation, times where women are getting like, well now, but prior to like a couple like last summer, women getting like having the like hanger abortions. Like we literally were living in a time like this, you know, contemporary times that is like pretty comfortable. Obviously there needs to be change, right? But I'm saying it was like what our ancestors paved the way in some way to make it better for us. And I feel like they had to navigate like really, really horrible times, and I feel like maybe they had more grit. Like it makes me think about it because I'm just like literally with Palestine.
That's not
like,
even a question.
We know that Starbucks gives so much money, and I keep talking about Starbucks, but hey, we would take your sponsorship. But like literally, like Palestine,
yes,
we know that Starbucks gives money, funds Israel, however, or gives money or has ties to Israel in some way, and people were like boycott Starbucks, and literally no one, like you can't ask. Like plenty of people still don't give a fuck, and it's like that. It's not even like that much of an inconvenience to your life. But I really just feel like we behave like privileged people because we are given so much by our ancestors and inherited like obviously a broken world, but not as worse as they had. And I feel like we're just not built like that, like truly. And I think you're right. It just makes me think what you're saying. We're not built for any like trying times is what you're saying basically.
And just even like just from the instant gratification thing, it's like, you know, I just, of course, you just think about my pop-up who's 91. It's just like he grew up when there was, you know, like I remember I asked him, I was like, did you guys have electricity? And he's like,
girl, yes.
You know, like he's like he's like, sometimes, they had outhouses. They were cooking all of their food from scratch. Like, it was not, throwing something in the oven and, ordering something on DoorDash. Like, they were making everything.
Yeah.
So
I know, like,
just even based off of like normal everyday shit, it's just like, even like writing a letter or whatever, like we
the
are
patience
just so,
of that, like having to write a letter and wait
the
for it back.
patience of it.
And we're just not built like that. And I just feel like that's what it is. We're just not built like that. And like, it's bad. That's not, I'm not trying to be like, oh, and so like excuse us of our behavior. It's bad. We need to be doing better because you're right. There's so many things that if we just dug down and were able to endure the sacrifice, we would have a lot of changes of things. However, we're just like, no, we'll just pay the money. Rather than, we'd rather pay the higher price that we can't afford than boycott it, which is crazy.
I mean, I feel like I'd be down. Like, I feel like a lot of people would be.
Yeah, but I don't think
down,
a majority would be.
Yeah. I mean, you're thinking about, like, if you're talking about, like, I feel also like people that just have families and stuff, like kids and stuff, I feel like people are just so checked out and they rely on, the streaming to keep their kid, whatever. And you know what I mean? So it's hard to get people like that are like just seeped into just, I don't know, everyday life versus just like people like us who have, I don't know, time to be on Twitter and like see that type of stuff. Like, I feel like, sometimes there is some momentum behind some of these things, like where they were like unfollow like celebrities I didn't
That's
talk
not
about,
hard,
whatever.
Though. You know what I'm saying?
But
That
I'm
doesn't require sacrifice.
but even then, though, a lot of people didn't do it. Like it's just, I don't know, man.
It's just interesting to think about. I would
but
love to,
even that, like you said, that's not hard.
No, like
you can
lose nothing.
Unfollow and still go look back at their page.
Right, you lose nothing by doing that. And that's why I'm just like, I would love to, like, if someone, an academic scholar, like, did some type of deep dive into this. But it's just like, I would love to know, maybe a psychologist, like, why, like, younger people, including myself, like, our generation are not, like, willing to sacrifice and endure, like, a little bit of a struggle as much as, like, our previous, our ancestors and the people older than us. I just find that, I don't know, I'm just really interested by it, but we don't have to go into it.
And I'll say the last thing, it's like, on one hand, I do feel like I respect us for resting more and like, things like that. But I know what you're saying. Like, I agree. And I think that there's a balance between, because like you said, we can rest and turn off.
We can
Netflix.
rest. Exactly. We could rest and not pay for Netflix. Like, it's like, there's just little things that we could do that would be different that we're not even willing to do.
I'm definitely addicted to watching something every day, for sure.
You know what you just saying addicted made me think of? Remember that song, like, I'm addicted to you.
Of course.
Who sang that? Was it Cassie?
And Ryan Leslie.
It was not Cassie.
Yes, it was.
My addiction.
I'm addicted to you.
Wait, hold on. I need to.
I remember Veronica had that as her like ringback song.
Oh, girl,
her,
of course
like,
she would, because everyone's addicted to Selena's. Yes, you're right. Cassie, Fabulous, and Ryan Leslie. Okay, moving on. All right,
I think this is actually.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I know you want to talk about stan culture, so I was like, let's get to it. But go ahead.
And I think that this was a good transition from, just thinking about this generation. But yeah, I do want to talk about stan culture. I'm going to put them on trial this week. So, I'm trying to think where I want to start with this.
Yeah, well, what made it come to mind? Like, what made you say, I want to talk about stan culture this week?
Well, I watched this weekend, this documentary called Fallen Idols. It was about Nick Carter and Aaron Carter and just their whole really traumatic life, honestly. Like, I didn't realize that Nick Carter and Aaron Carter were like 2 of 5 kids, and like only 2 of those children are like still alive, like either 2 or 3. Like, everybody else has died of like overdose. And and I did like I remember when Aaron Carter was like coming to the end of his life, and I remember hearing about him and like seeing that he wasn't doing very well. But I didn't know, like, honestly, I know this is kind of crazy, but I didn't connect the fact that Nick Carter was even that famous. Like, I don't know, I just didn't realize that he was in the Backstreet Boys for some reason. All of the Backstreet Boys' faces are just like kind of, I never really was like, this is you and this is your name and all of that. So, but they're basically just talking about how Nick Carter has many allegations of sexual assault and rape and all of these horrific things and abuse. And people have come out and, spoken against him and have filed things in court. And like, they had some stands in the documentary that were like, he would never do that. Like, Nick is not capable of that, and blah, blah, blah. These people have never met him a day in their life. And it was just the biggest example of just like stan culture and like the harassment, honestly, that comes from these stands that don't know these people. Like, they're like telling Aaron Carter like, kill yourself and blah 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 blah, because he's like, he is saying that like his brother was a rapist, like, like he was saying that. And so, yeah, it just really got me thinking. And then it was crazy because after I watched that, there was like a commercial and it was with the Backstreet Boys, and I'm just like, wow. At the same time that this documentary just came out, like last week or something, Nick Carter is getting a check for this commercial. And it's just wild because it's just like the fans are really what keep them, I don't know, man. It's just wild. So yeah, that's what I watched, and it really just blew my mind because
I mean, so what are your thoughts?
It's just so dangerous.
Yeah,
it's just so dangerous. It's like people are literally like, he could never do that. Like, Nick Carter could never do that. And it's just like, you do not know this person. And I know we talk about this a lot on this show, like just about celebrities and not knowing them. But I think it's just, as more and more people, sadly, like every week there's a damn near a new accusation. But
when I think about stan culture, it makes me think of like the Barbs, obviously, the Beehive. It makes me think of the Swifties, and then the last one it makes me think of is actually, it might just be those 3. And I feel like, I mean, it's inherently dangerous, obviously, because I mean, I'm of the opinion that everyone is capable of anything. Like, everyone is capable of doing good and doing evil. So like, for someone to just be like, yes, you don't know them, but also it's just a very like superficial, naive thought to just think that like, well, they would never do this. It's like, actually, in my opinion, everyone is capable of doing anything. It's just a matter of like what you act on and your influences and things like that. As far as like stan culture, I mean, I think it's dangerous. I think it's dangerous, but I also think like it inherently only goes to like obviously serve the celebrity, because you kind of act as their shield. Like, they need PR, but they like their PR can work less hard because their crew is going to do it. I mean, it makes me think of in the Renaissance movie how Beyonce was like, well, the Beehive, they got me, and I feel like she's right. Like, literally, even if there was a bad video about Beyonce of her cussing someone out, calling them a bitch, and everything like that, The Beehive would either and I'm in the Beehive, okay? We would either justify it and say why, like, it was necessary for her to call them a bitch. We would justify it being like, well, you don't get to the Beyonce's level without being, like, mean. Or we would just act like our eyes are lying to us. Like, it's inherently dangerous because it avoids logic and it lets the celebrity kind of get away with murder, basically.
I mean, that is exactly what it does. Like, you definitely you guys should check out the documentary because it's just wild that like people have come out over the last 3 decades and just like have similar stories. Like, this is documented, this is in the news, and the victims are like, the one of the girls is from Dream. Remember that
love
group?
Dream.
I
Yeah,
know you
he
know that
loves
group.
you.
Yeah,
He loves you not. Mm-hmm.
Yes, we used to love them back in the day. I remember I had my little hip clip of
No
them.
chains to
But yeah, one
unlock.
of the girls from that, and she was actually in Love Don't Cost a Thing. I didn't realize that was her, the blonde girl in Love Don't Cost a Thing. She was one of his victims, and
I mean, yeah, I can believe it.
And it's just like people are just saying like she's such a liar, and I actually do feel like I vaguely remember when people were like, I stand with Nick Carter. Like, I kind of vaguely remember that on my timeline, but yeah, I feel like I'm definitely examining my own relationship with stan culture, and like I feel like, just for our audience members, because I feel like we're starting to record this podcast when we are at this point of our lives where we're older, we're thinking about things more critically, and just the time that we're in. Like Cat Williams said at the beginning of the year, like, everybody's shit is coming out, whatever. But, like, I feel like some of my friends would think that I'm probably one of the biggest Beyonce fans that they know. Like, I feel like a lot of my friends, like, when they think about Beyonce, they think about me because they know how much I love her. I've loved her for so long. She's been so inspirational to me. All the things, all the things. But I feel like am trying to take a more critical look at, just like the blind loyalty or like, things that, you're willing to overlook. And I feel like, yeah, it's an interesting thing. It's just really, I think, making you focus on yourself and your real life. And, I think that's a good thing. But it is hard to, like, as somebody that is like a really big fan of somebody like Beyonce, who has this like really, polished, lovable, beloved,
Persona.
character and persona that we've grown to love and really admire. And part of it, I believe it is really her too. But I do feel like, when things come out that are, criticisms, which I don't know. I don't know. I'm just like, I feel like I have to prepare any day for like something really bad to come out about anybody. But
I just feel like she's human, right? And I feel like we need to treat her like a human. So it kind of like stan culture in a way, kind of like it serves it dehumanizes the actual celebrity, and it's interesting because you wouldn't want to do that because it's just like, yeah, like it makes them, put them on such a pedestal that it takes away their humanness and their nuance and their complexity, which makes them uniquely them. And so I feel like, also, sorry, when I was thinking about Trump culture, it also makes me think of like MAGA, right? And like Trump, and like how he can do no wrong. They'll follow him to the end of the earth, And I feel like it kind of shows like it gets dangerous.
Like
it gets dangerous at a point when you're a stan,
for sure.
And I find it weird because I'm like,
and these kids, man, the kids with Taylor, it's interesting.
The kids with Beyonce too. I feel like both of them be crazy. And the bars, they be doxing people too.
I mean, I just feel like I'm just seeing from my personal, like, this weekend, and just like I don't hear as many kids, like, the kids, yes, they do love Beyonce, yes. The kids love Beyonce.
Absolutely.
But these kids with Taylor Swift, like, I don't hear anybody asking for their birthday party, like, we want a Taylor Swift, like, we want a Beyonce
Oh, I'm sure
routine or
people
whatever.
have.
It's like,
Remember that little
okay,
boy?
Alexis, but I get it. But you have to admit, like, I feel like the kids, and I don't know, I feel like there's a lot more kids at Taylor Swift concerts than there are Beyonce concerts. Like, I
I mean,
think
yes, I
that
think
that is,
yes, I think that she's plays
and
like
what I'm just saying is that having that level of, like, oh my God, to Taylor Swift for these kids, I do feel like it can be super dangerous. Like, just in that way of just,
what about
I
it
don't know.
that
I feel
she's
like
like
Taylor
has kids
Swift's,
that like her? What is like what's the danger?
yes, that are having that amount of stan culture with this grown ass woman. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I just feel like it's her audience is just really young. Yes, she has older people. But I feel like
I guess
I
I have
hear
a
about so many
question.
people that are just like taking their kids to the Taylor Swift
Well, how would you
concert,
feel?
and
Like, I guess, like, what would you think? What would you say, kind of about like us listening to Beyonce in middle school and going to her concerts? Would it be the same thing or is it different? Because
it's
she was a grown ass
similar,
woman at
but
the
I don't
time.
know. I just feel like Beyonce just has always had a range of fans where it was
Mm-hmm.
not always just like concentrated to younger people, like
That's
it is
really
with Taylor Swift. Like, I almost feel
interesting.
like it's like kids boppy. Like, it's like
Wow.
this is the soundtrack of their little
Mm.
lives. Like, it's
That's
just
very
crazy.
interesting. I mean, I definitely think kids love her. I mean, literally, like on Friday, I was
And
with
her
the
music
third
is,
graders,
yeah,
and the
go
third
ahead.
graders were like one of them came up to me and was like, "So who do you like, Beyonce or Taylor Swift?" And I was like, "Beyonce," and she was like, "Ooh," like kind of like "ooh, bad." But I also would like to say,
Mm-hmm.
it's funny because when I think of a Taylor Swift fan, I think of like a white suburban mom. Like, I feel like that's what I think of, and so it's just interesting that we're having like different experiences of Taylor. I definitely think that she has also garnered a younger, as she gets evolves, like is garnering a younger fan base to keep her more relevant. I do believe that's what she's doing. But when I think about her core base, I think it's like white suburban moms who are like are young, like millennial moms who are young and they grew up with Taylor and they love her still and they're like introducing their kids to
Yeah.
it. And but
It just seems
regardless,
like a
like,
mom daughter thing versus just like a,
and I think that's her
oh shit,
branding.
sorry,
I feel
boo.
like for white women, that's their, I mean, this is just my opinion. Please don't dox us. But I feel like when I think about white women, I think of like, yeah, like, I wanted to be a wife and I wanted to, and I know this is like old and this is dated and this is my judgment, but I feel like there's definitely a specific type of white femininity that's like, I wanted to be a wife. I wanted to have a husband. We moved out to the burbs. I'm 30 and I now have a 3-year-old and she loves Taylor Swift. Like, I feel like that's her brand. The brand of Taylor Swift is like this white femininity. And I feel like that's what I think goes along with it. So I'm not surprised that she's like garnering that fan base. But I feel like
Yeah.
it's 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 very white, and it's like, and it's something, and I feel like we should have our own Taylor Swift episode. But I feel like with standing, it's just crazy because it like all logic goes out the window. Like, people put up clips and they're like, yes,
Mm-hmm.
the mic is on, and it's clearly like the mic is not on, and then you can fight them back and forth, and they'll be like, our girl can sing, and da da da, and it's just like you can't
Mm-hmm.
reason with it.
Mm-hmm. You can't reason with that. You're right. And I think I just brought that up because it was just like, it's just interesting to see the standum from like young people. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I definitely,
We're in
I
a culture of
mean,
stand-up. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I would love to talk to my
yeah.
dad about this because he's a avid Michael Jackson fan. I mean, when Michael Jackson passed, I had to pick him up from work early. Like, literally, I remember that summer leaving work and having to pick him up early. And my mom was like, "You have to pick your father up. He's upset about Michael Jackson's death." Like, he's a very big Michael Jackson fan, and I wonder if like he felt this way when he was like, in his 20s and 30s, and like, I wonder if he felt like, I just like, we are the Michael Jackson hive and da-da-da, and we like, now he can do no wrong. I wonder if this is like
I
a new
think
era
so.
thing or if this has always been there.
No, This is definitely. I think Michael Jackson was probably one of the first people that we saw stand-ups like
That's a
him,
good point.
and even like Princess Diana. Like,
That's a
I
good
think when
point.
that stuff started happening, it was definitely something different, you know?
That's a good point.
Like,
And even just like Michael Jackson, he had a lot of allegations. And if you ask my dad to this day, he would be like,
oh my
that's not true, you know?
God.
And so it's just like, it
Yes.
allows you to
And
hide
some of these people
behind
we
things.
know it does. And it's such an interesting, like, I would love to like have a psychologist on the show one day and just like have them talk about just the parasocial relationship, because it's definitely the psychology behind like you feeling like you know these people. And
And
it's
it's
just
always
so
like, it's just
wild.
interesting. Yeah. Cause I'm like, it's such a superficial, naive way.
You
It's like,
gotta watch yourself.
right. It's just like, I would never, I mean, I guess, and maybe it's just like I have a more critical lens with like celebrities, but I'm just like, I wouldn't put anything past somebody with that much power and money. Like, you know, not, like at the level of Beyonce, Nick Carter, I would not put anything evil past them. And it's, even though I love Beyonce, it's like I still wouldn't, because it's just like, to have that much power and money, I can't imagine that you believe you live like the normal human experience. And I also believe you have to make a lot of, as I say every week, decisions that either uphold certain things or dismantle certain things. And to get to where you are. And so it's just like, it's so weird to me that people are just like, well, I don't know if she would do that, or I don't know if he would do that. Well, he loves da da da. It's like, girl, what? He wants to make money. Like, he don't care about that. Like,
Right. And I think we started kind of talking about this too, because Beyonce, she did something that was,
oh
you
my
know,
gosh, I've heard about this.
having us look sideways a little bit.
Girl.
And it's just so hard. Like, this is hard.
Well,
Like,
let's
I really
explain what she
do.
did.
I'm going to.
Okay.
I'm just like, it's making me like not want to listen to the music as much, and it sucks. But basically, Beyonce released the official quotes vinyl last week, and a lot of the people that bought her album on the pre-release for the limited edition Cowboy Carter album are like, well, what the fuck did I order? Because I thought I was getting the official vinyl when we actually were getting something that was not the complete album in terms of, and I haven't put my album on the record. My shit's still in the wrapping, but I've heard that there has been songs that are left off.
You
like,
will have
Alexis,
shit
your
left
album
off.
had you don't have Yaya on your album. Like, you know, like, I don't even know how the album goes, if it's like Linda Matrell to
I mean, so
what's after
I
Yaya.
have been listening to my Cowboy Carter vinyl since it came in, and yes, it just skips Yaya and goes whatever to the what thing that's after Yaya. It also doesn't have My Rose. It skips My Rose. I mean, I kind of feel the same way, and I kind of told you my thoughts, but these are my thoughts. It's like, you go to an official site because you believe you're getting the official thing. I gave you this example earlier. I would go to crocs.com to get Crocs. If I want to knock off Crocs, I would just go to the Five and Below, you know? And so it's just like, I don't understand why I went to Beyonce.com. They were advertising the vinyls, blue, white, red, and whatever, black. I thought I bought the vinyl from Beyonce.com. Turns out it's an unofficial product. That to me is like very sinister. Like, I'm just like, if you like to knowingly promote and like put on the market an unofficial product from the official site is strange, and it's like kind of misleading, because I thought I bought the official vinyl, and then when I got the vinyl, turns out it was missing songs, and then it turns out there's an official one coming out later, which they probably knew, with a booklet of pictures and all the songs. To me, it's just unofficial, and it's a money grab. And I'm just like, if money is that important to you that you would mislead people into buying something knowingly that was missing things and was unofficial, that's pretty piss poor to me, if like I'm being honest. And I love Beyonce, but it's just like I don't,
Yeah.
nothing's above critique.
And And this is like, yes, like I agree with what you're saying, and my mind goes to just like fuck, I'm losing my train of thought. I'm talking about the album.
Well, while you think, I'll just continue to rant. But yeah, it's just like I don't know. I feel like, and it's just like, damn, you have plenty of money, like to like release, and also just like to release.
Oh yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Go finish your thought.
No, I was just ranting. You
I
go.
think I'll remember. Well, I was just gonna say, like, I feel like they just pick such bad wording because, like you're saying, yeah, it's like, why are you using the language official and limited edition and whatever? But it's not like the limited edition is getting anything extra. It's almost like we're getting the rough draft when we were ordering what we thought was
The official
full
product.
Cowboy Carter album. Yeah, like the full album. And like, and I'm honestly just worried because Beyonce does influence the industry so much that people might start doing that. Like, putting out a rough draft and then being like, oh, actually, this is the finished one and this one comes with this and that. And it's just like, that is, and I feel like, and I think about, like her camp, like how are they like, what's the word? Justifying this. And I'm like, they're probably, I feel like with Beyonce, there's always been an element of like, she's trying to give people more opportunities to like buy it if they couldn't buy it then, or go to the concert.
Okay, so then take songs off of theirs.
But
like, take songs off of their shit then. Like, that's, I'm just like, be fair. You knowingly put out a product that was incomplete and still ask for people's fucking money, especially in a recession, especially when you're a fucking billionaire, especially after, like, in the wake of the pandemic. Like, it's just, to me, it's like, there's not even being like, I want more people to have the opportunity to buy it. It's like, we don't have any fucking money. So the money we gave you, we were thinking in good faith you were giving us the official product.
Exactly.
So it's like there's no,
because we're gonna buy what we want.
Exactly.
And there's we want to buy the one that has all the songs.
Exactly.
And also my thing too, I wanted to say is like with vinyls and stuff, there's such like a luxury product. It's not necessary.
Absolutely.
I have Apple Music.
Exactly.
that I pay for every month, and I can listen to the album. So when I'm buying a vinyl, I'm thinking that this is a keepsake. It's gonna, you can take as long as you want. You could even have, release this official out. Like, oh, now the vinyls are available versus like putting out something that's incomplete. And we just got, like, we thought we had the good shit, and we're giving your money quick because we're like,
and you know what?
We want the limited edition one. We want it before. And I'm just saying, like, that's the loyalty of your fans. Like, we're buying this shit and we haven't even heard it yet.
Well, because we trust her. And so to me, it's kind of like a breach of trust. Like, we trust you. We trust that you'll always come with excellence. What it is. We trust that. And maybe we shouldn't because, again, we don't know this woman. You know what I'm saying? She could actually not care at all. Like, and I'm not trying to say she doesn't, but I'm just saying we don't know her. So both possibilities are on the table. And so, but however, since we think we know her, we trusted that she would give us the official fucking product. She did not. And so I'm just kind of like, I don't know. To me, it's just really sinister because I'm like, no one can tell me that when y'all put these fucking vinyls out on the market with missing songs that y'all didn't think to yourself, well, we're going to have another rollout where they have all of it. So you like knowingly put an unofficial thing on the market, taking people's money, as I said, in the wake of a pandemic, during a recession, while you're a fucking billionaire. To me, there's really no excuse. Like, there's no excuse.
Yeah, there isn't. There isn't. Especially that.
Exactly.
Like,
it's just, I don't know. It's
one thing to put out like an unofficial thing on Apple Music,
exactly,
where it's just like people aren't buying it, but people are buying. People probably bought multiple of those things. People are like, people, and that's where it feels like it's a little sinister because people buy anything every time you put it out. Like, like there's people that are like, I mean,
I saw somebody on Twitter the other day being like, I guess I gotta trade in my old one and get this new one. Like, it's just like, and they were saying trade in because they don't have the fucking money, so they're trying to get some money off of the old one and then use it towards the new one. People will buy your shit, Beyonce, and we love you, but we would like that, like, you would think about the fact that not,
Yeah,
you
you
know,
gotta
bring
get your
yourself down
team
to a human
together,
level
girl.
and understand that many people lost people during the pandemic. Probably not you, because you had multiple properties. You could go places you can isolate. And they lost people during the pandemic. They lost a lot of money during the pandemic. They also, like, we're in a recession. We're not making billions of money like you. You should, if you're going to release something, it should be worth people's money. Period. That's all we ask. And if it's
Yes,
not, that you're upfront
period.
about it. That's all. You can't control how people spend their
Mm-hmm.
money, but you can control that you put out quality products. And you
Yes.
didn't.
And that you're
Period.
upfront about like what we're buying. Because now it's just like, what the fuck? You know, like I
Mm-hmm.
could see if it was like we said, the language too. It's like, who on your team, Beyonce, was it you? I don't know, chose to say official. Like that was just the worst thing you could have
It
done.
is, because
Like
I'm like, so
I
then
just
I
feel
bought an
like,
unofficial product, bitch. What?
right. And people are like, what? Like, you know, and
Mm, mm,
people
mm.
are like, there is a chatter of like people that have been unhappy with, you know, this rollout. A lot of people like got missing merch and broken merch,
Oh,
and
hell
oh my
no.
god, this is kind of not bad, but like I was thinking about getting the playing cards
Girl, don't do that.
that have I was thinking about getting them, but then somebody on Reddit was like, they're only like, it's only that one that's changed. Like it was just like, okay, this is not worth it. I thought you were going to give me like a card set of like different stuff. I don't know. But
Mm-mm.
I don't remember exactly what they said. But it was just like, okay, yeah, that's not worth the money.
It's not. And I mean, you
It's
know, and
sad.
also,
It's
again, I
really
expect more from
sucks.
people with more
It's
privilege. Like, I expect more, like I say every week. You are a billionaire.
yep.
I expect you have a lot of power. I
Yes.
expect more from you. And
Oh
maybe
my
I shouldn't. And
god.
maybe I
Period.
shouldn't. Because at the end of the day, I feel like
I
these people are
know,
far away from
but
the human experience, that they don't not given, they do not care about
yeah,
us. They look
they're
at us like a
far.
Christy Teigen video, as I always say. Like, they're not caring.
They are very far from us. And I just am like, it is just, it is just crazy. Because you would think if I was on that level, if I was putting out an album, if I can look at the state of the world and be like, okay, I just want to, like, if you want to be like the people back in the day, like Tina Turner, it's like you sold the ticket, you sold the album. Like you had a little bit of integrity in terms of what you're selling. You know, I just feel like, and that just makes, again, it just makes me nervous in terms of influencing more of the industry. And it's like,
And that's
you are
why,
a
and
billionaire.
that's
We need to
why,
keep our money in our pocket.
come
And
on.
that's one thing it's clear. It's like Beyonce
Yes.
does not care about that.
And this is why I remember
She doesn't.
distinctly having a conversation, I forget with who, like a while ago, about billionaires. And I was saying that I was just like, billionaires shouldn't exist. And somebody was like, well, kind of being like, well, I prefer the black, like, you know, they were basically being like, but the black ones, we need people at the table. And it's like, and I tried to make the argument that like, even the black ones, when they get to that table, they end up just reproducing and reinforcing all the systems that hold capitalism up. We see that here. Like, literally, even though it was unofficial, her words, even though it was missing songs. I had have an album with missing songs, so this is not hearsay. You still were gonna put that shit on the market, knowing that you were gonna make hella money with a product that was not worth 2 cents. Taking money from people that are not at your status, that do not have disposable income the way that you do, but you don't give a damn, because at the end of the day, you make money. At the end of the day, like, so that's what I'm saying. It's just like, I feel like it doesn't matter what color the billionaire is. Their capitalism is going to capitalism. The same, the values they share are the same ones the white ones have. They're still going to reinforce and uphold certain fucking things, and until people
Mm-hmm.
fucking realize that, shit, they're gonna be putting up products with one song on it and we still gonna buy it. It don't even matter. But I don't want to spend too much time
I
on this unless you
know.
have like some closing thoughts. But I do want to end with like a different topic real quick. But go ahead.
Yeah, I have a couple. I'm like, I don't know. I just want to say, I feel like it does feel like a breach of trust. And yeah, I just, I have so many things to say while you're talking, and then I'm like, I don't know. um, Fuck it. Let's just move on.
Okay,
If
well, if you
you
think of it,
remember, if
bring it
I
back.
remember.
Well, I just wanted to end
Okay.
with, today we did find out that Fenty is expanding, and Fenty, I mean Rihanna, Fenty is expanding to Fenty hair, and so we now have a new celebrity hair care on market, on the market, which is Fenty hair, and so yeah, I was just kind of wanting you to hear your thoughts on like this. So I just feel like we're in an era of like celebrity makeup brands, celebrity hair care brands, celebrity skincare brands, and your thoughts on that, and then also just like will you be trying Fenty hair? I also sorry,
Um.
while you think and gather your thoughts, I want to share this tweet that I saw today that I was like, I actually think this would be a really good idea for Rihanna, but who knows if this is happening. Somebody was like, they retweeted her little like announcement. Fenty hair is launching June 13th. And someone retweeted and said, love me some products, but we don't need no more shampoo and conditioner. Give us dyes, accessories, hair fragrances. Please don't let me down. And I'm like, actually, that would be Rihanna. Like, I feel like when I think of Rihanna, I think of like unique, different. It's like spunky, it's funky, it's different. And I feel like, yes, like give us some hair fragrances, give us accessories that are cool as shit, give us some dyes that are like very interesting colors. Cause I feel like with Fenty makeup, the thing that made it stand out so much was the shades being so diverse. And I was like, yes, give us dyes that are like all the shades in the rainbow and then some. And I was like, I actually think that would be like a good way for Rihanna to distinguish herself from all the other brands like Gabrielle Union, Taraji, Sacred, Beyonce, Taraji P. Henson. I don't know if I said pattern, but pattern. Like it would separate it from all those other celebrity hair care lines. But go ahead.
I was good. That's what I was gonna say. I was like, it's interesting. It's like, okay, Fenty hair, interesting. It's funny that, you know, I know everybody's on the internet talking about how her wearing the wig.
On the
But
promo.
I think it could work in terms of like you said, like dyes and um even like wigs or like, using her
Hair
kind of
fragrances,
hair
accessories.
and even like gels or something
Mm-hmm.
like that, like things that are like help your hair do cool fun things.
Yeah.
I think it could work. It is just interesting, all the celebrities, they gonna do it if they can, if they can sell it. So I mean, I'm honestly just
Capitalism.
kind of like a bystander at this point, just sitting back and thinking of things like from a critical view, like we've been talking about, like through a capitalistic lens. And I'm just like, wow, like this is an interesting ad. Like, okay, let's see. I want to see what she's about to say. And like, I just feel like I haven't been as moved by these things anymore. Cause like you said, you're kind of seeing through you're seeing it as a money grab. It's just like, okay, everybody has it. There's obviously a reason
Mm-hmm.
why everybody has it. If it's giving me a quality product, then I will take it. Yes. Like I'm not, especially with hair stuff, like if it's gonna be a quality, like I use pattern. I've used it since it came
And that
out, and
shit
it's
is
like I like it.
amazing. Yes.
Yeah, I like it. I love the way it smells. It gives me some like it's enhancing my life, and it feels worth it because it's for my hair. And so yeah, shit. I would love some dyes. I would love the perfect pink dye for my
Mm-hmm.
short cut,
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also just like, again, like I said, I'm not as moved. I'm not like, oh my God, like Rihanna's dropping this. It's like, okay, girl, let's see what it's about. Like, I'm not about to be spending my money on anything that is not rated and reviewed highly. And yeah,
It's just
just
hard though
it's not
because
about the celebrity anymore
it's
for
interesting
me.
because it's
It's
hard for
got to
me to
work.
even trust like influencers and rated and reviews and stuff like that because I'm like, what? Like I just believe a lot of people get you have to understand, and I always bring this up, and people are probably like, "Shut up," but it's like I feel like you have to understand the power dynamic when it comes to like influencers receiving something from a celebrity, a mega
Of
celebrity,
course.
and it's like no mega celebrity, especially a black influencer, a black woman influencer, is going to give a terrible review to a mega celebrity brand because it shuts off that line of revenue and free shit they could get and views. You know what I'm saying? Like if you give a positive review to a pattern, it then opens the door for to get more pattern shit, to be invited to the events, to then, you know, so it's just like it's
I
hard
guess
for me
I'm
to
more
even
so,
I just wanted to finish, like it's hard for me to
my
trust the
reviews are
rates
coming
and
for like
the rates and reviews because I'm like, no one's gonna give a fucking sacred who actually wants to be a serious influencer for black hair care a bad review, or even Fenty hair or a pattern.
right.
Like
I'm more so talking about though personal hearsay. Like I really like it. Like, you know, my sister, she uses Sacred or she has tried it. And she took it to her hairdresser and like she's getting her hairdresser's opinion about it. Like, you know, it has to hold some weight and I actually have to through the grapevine, you know, through my real life. I honestly don't watch a lot of like TikTok reviews to hear.
oh, I do,
Like
so maybe that's just me.
I haven't, yeah, I haven't watched like a Sacred review honestly, because yeah, I just haven't. But I had to try pattern for myself and was like, oh, I love this. Like it's working for me, you know. I have tried other ones. Like I did use Taraji's hair wash and like I liked it, but this like the scent was a little too much for me, so that's why I, you know, moved on from that. Like it really like I feel like for stuff that I'm gonna put on my body, it actually has to work and like I have to like it, you know. I feel like that's where I'm at with it. I'm not just about to buy anything from just because it's like my favorite celebrity. Like that's
It's interesting
I
because
know
I feel like a lot of people did.
are like that.
Yeah. Like I feel like a lot of people bought that
did.
pre-order of Sacred before we even got our first fucking review. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's sad because it's like a lot of people do.
I'm talking about me.
Yeah, it's just interesting. I just feel like I hope that Fenty hair. My hope for Fenty hair is that it distinguishes itself from all the other brands, like that person said. Because like we don't need another shampoo, we don't need another moisturizer. Even regardless of the celebrity brands, we have Camille Rose, we have Uncle Funky's. I mean, there's so many other brands that it's just like we don't need another fucking shampoo and conditioner. What we do need is this fun shit, like the dyes and shit. Because I haven't seen a specifically like this is for textured hair dye. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like
or barrettes or like.
Barrettes,
like
exactly.
Bobby pin,
exactly.
That, like, holds your hair really cool and stuff like that. Yeah.
And so that's why I'm like, I hope that she thought about all of that. But I remember, it reminds me of this interview Rihanna did. I remember a couple months ago when someone asked about her hair, and she was like, you know, they said braids are straight. That's what they said, braids are straight. And she was like, oh, I can't pick. She was like, but I'm about to. This was like her teasing it, like I'm about to do some interesting things with hair. And she mentioned like because I love really really unique braiding styles and da da da. So part of me is like, maybe it's about to blow our minds and be like really good braiding hair, quality braiding, and like all these other things, not just braiding hair, but I'm saying like things that we wouldn't even expect, you know. And so
yeah,
and
I hope that's what I hope.
And she probably took
like,
notes watching the Sacred like rollout. You know what I'm saying?
I wish that she definitely did. I wish that somebody would come out with some, like you said, like hair. Like I would want some wigs.
Weave hair. Like, girl, come on.
Would be. That probably would be a whole thing, though. I feel like doing that ethically is probably
that's real.
Not,
that's
like,
real. That's real.
Not a good way to do that.
That's real.
So
that's real.
But yeah,
we'll see. I have high hopes. I'm curious. I hope it's fun and creative and not just like the products. That's really what I hope.
And I hope it's like has some type of, you know, integrity in terms of like.
Girl, I don't know about that one because we all saw that Fenty brand be using, what was it, child labor and shit like that in overseas. So I don't know if it's gonna be ethical, but it's gonna be.
I was saying more the ingredients, but yes, that too.
I don't know if it was like, child labor, but I know that Fenty recently got into a lot of like, I'm like, I don't know if it was ethical, but it might be.
Or
good.
it just scored a very low, like a very like shockingly low rating on like its ethicalness and how they're like doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. But yeah, man, these celebrities, we say this like week after week, I feel like, but I'm definitely just seeing a lot of it for what it is. I think that the last thing I will say, just ending this about celebrities, like the new allegation about the dream,
I didn't read the article, so I can't say much, but
and
yes, I did see that.
I read it, and it is just sorry, bub. It is just like I think that, and just like watching the Nick Carter documentary. I watched this Kevin Spacey documentary. Like the industry, I just feel like is really like that is an accepted part of the exchange.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think we
Mm-hmm.
should see it more like that than anything else. Like Hollywood from its conception has been this like trading for sex to get the part and that type of stuff. And so it's just crazy. Like I remember that show on Netflix, Hollywood, and they talked about it was just all up and through there, and that was like it was a period piece about, like Hollywood back in the day. And yeah, I just every day, like from Rihanna and the products to, these new accusations that we're getting, I'm just really seeing things for what they are. It's such a weird reality switch a little bit to
Mm-hmm.
like see it as like such a sinister machine that it is, and yeah, and just not have like it they I feel like have been like leading the culture, and so I just am curious, like where are we gonna go from here, like what
Mm.
happens from here.
No, that's a good
So
question.
yeah.
I'd want to end by saying, last week, I don't want to talk about this, I just want to say it unless you have something to say about it. Last week, Normani dropped Candy Paint. We love you, Normani. You should have started with this first. It was a high beat, it was up tempo. This was the summer jam, and I hope you learn from it. Yep, but we love you.
Alexis, you're crazy. I'm waiting for the album, Normani. I also I've actually been playing a lot of Gunna, and she's featured on
Boy,
Gunna's
what
album.
you gonna do
She's
with
featured on Gunna's
it?
album. And so I get it, girl. You doing what you gotta do. Get your money, girl. Do your thing. I'm waiting for the album. I love the song, and I'll be waiting for the video.
Absolutely,
Okay,
the video.
Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready for it. Cause honestly, yeah, we need more. But
We
I'm
need
hopeful. But
more.
anyways, let's end
Yes.
it here.
It's always good
Sorry, I was a
talking
little
to your
scattered
friend.
today.
No, you were perfect.
Alexis.
And there goes
um,
Jupiter with his cigar in the back, as you see.
I know he's ready for me to get off. So yes, please email us at whoamitojudgepod@gmail.com and let us know some of your topics you want us to talk about. And yeah, we love you guys, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Peace. Thank you so much for listening. Remember to email us your discussion topics at whoamitojudgepod@gmail.com. Also, remember to subscribe to Who Am I to Judge podcast on Spotify and everywhere you get your podcast. If you love us, please rate us and review. And if you don't, leave us alone. Tell a friend to tell a friend. See y'all next week. Bye, friends.